You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Iron Lady season that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. As always, we have the most amazing guests that share their stories and journeys of their life with you so that you can learn from them and make your life better, or maybe give you a different paradigm to look at things through life, as it were. Today we have an amazing young man on the show. Pascal Xavier joins us on the show. Pascal, did I get your name right?
Yes, it is.
There you are. Usually I check that before the show, but I figured we'd just wing it this time because I figured I had it. So, Xavier, give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
They can find me on my domain name, PascalXavier.com.
Mm-hmm. And Pascal.com, you got that. That's pretty cool.
Yes,
there you go.
PascalXavier.com. That's correct.
Oh, Xavier.com. There you go. So, you have a new book that's coming out soon.
Yes,
and you're... Go ahead.
I have a book that will be coming out later in the year. It's on my journey. It's on all about my quadruple bypass heart surgery, how I got there, and what you can do to avoid getting there.
There you go. And if you can move close to the mic and give me a little bit more audio, please. Thank you.
Yes.
So, does it have a title yet?
Yes, it is. It is basically about a blueprint. It is about the risk of cardiovascular heart disease and a blueprint to avoid cardiovascular heart disease.
Okay, there you go. So tell us about your journey through life and what this book is based on. Your journey through life and what you're up to and doing. Tell us about your journey and take your time.
Yeah, sure. So about 35 years ago, as a university student, I struggled with medication.
Mm-hmm.
I used to take. I have nasal rhinitis as one of the other medical problems,
mm-hmm.
and I was prescribed, antihistamines, corticosteroids for my sinuses and for my lungs because I have asthma as well, and all these medications cause serious side effects. I mean, dry tongue. I sat exams in college on these drugs, and they were horrible. I mean, and I thought to myself, when I graduated and went into postgrad school, I said to myself, I'm going to kick all these drugs. I'm going to make it my objective to find out what I can take to avoid these drugs. And so I went through a journey. I went through a journey of reading up a lot on these books.
Mm-hmm.
One of these books that I highly recommend, and perhaps some of your viewers and listeners know about, is a book by two physicians, James and Phyllis Bach. It's called The Prescription for Nutritional Healing.
Oh, wow.
And I bought this from Amazon a long time back.
Mm-hmm.
And I read up all about vitamins, minerals, supplements, herbs, and what they could do to alleviate symptoms that drugs normally do.
Uh-huh.
So into high doses of vitamin C, I tried echinacea and a few other things. And what helped me is that some of my experience from these these herbs and these vitamins and minerals. I lived in the U.S. for about 3 years. I was a Penn Stater for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was a postdoc there. I would visit the local health food store, and I would try a couple of things. And I remember my first winter in the U.S., and this is in Pennsylvania State College. Coming from Singapore, that's where I'm from. I was from, and I'm obviously living in Australia for the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I came down with pneumonia, and so I had pretty bad pneumonia. I had blood in my sputum and coughing it out. As you know, in the U.S., medical insurance is pretty expensive.
Yeah, definitely.
And as postdoc at Penn State, I was able to get some minimal cover seeing the medical center at Penn State. But what I did was I decided to try something out of the usual, right? Rather than take, antibiotics, which, overprescribed these days, I think. I went on a search for probiotics, the kind of strains that help with immune system. And so I went on a multiple strain probiotic formula throughout that bout of pneumonia, and I was okay within 4 to 5 days. I recovered, no antibiotics.
Wow, that's pretty
So
good.
that was that was really an eye opener. I really the power of natural remedies, and so I carried on that way. And fast forward 15, 20 years to 2006. Now I'm getting to where I had what led to my bypass. Now I've had I must admit I've not been pretty good with my nutrition. I eat junk food. I've been a lot of fast food, fries and the stuff, right, burgers and things, and sugar as well. And I used to delude myself because my wife is she's a physician, she's a doctor, and I used to say to her, look, my vessels are all perfectly clean. My plumbing is all a-okay. I've been drinking lots of red wine. And all the
red wine
cleaned up. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll fix everything.
But that's what I thought. But then I one evening while watching Netflix on Friday evening, and my wife was resting against my chest, and she said, "That sounds like a heart murmur. Why did you get that checked?" And I said, "All right, I didn't think much about it, but I went to the GP, and the GP did a check on me, listened to my heart and my lungs, and said, there's nothing wrong with you, But you know what? I'll just in case, I'll send you to a cardiologist for a second opinion." Went to the cardiologist. The cardiologist did a battery of tests on me, did an echo, which is pretty much like an ultrasound. And then the cardiologist did a stress echo, which is running on a treadmill with the ultrasound.
Yeah.
And the cardiologist, I look at your ultrasound. The blood flow looks symmetric. There seems to, your heart seems to be pumping all right. Nothing seems to be wrong with you.
No.
But because you mentioned you have a medical history of heart disease in the family, a family history, and my mom and my father both had a bypass. My father at the age of 48, my mom at the age of 70. And he said, look, because they've had a bypass, I'm going to send you for a scan. They send a dye into your bloodstream, and then they see if there are any blockages. Now, he said to me, look, if I don't call you in the next day or two, then you know what? Just come and see me next year. Otherwise, there'll be another conversation. And true enough, I got a call like the next day, and my heart was pumping. I said, what is this now? Why is he calling me? And he said, look, Pascal, can you come and see me at my clinic? I need to see you pretty quickly. And so I went to see him, and he said, look, when I went to see him, he said, it looks like there's multiple blockages.
Wow.
From what we can see in the scan. And it's hard to say exactly the extent of the blockages. Look, you know what? I'll give you the best scenario. The best scenario is that you may have a stent or two, and then you go back to work in a few days, right? And he left it as that. I thought, okay, but look, it's probably that's what's going to be. It's going to be some stent. So I told my team at work, look, I'm going to be away for a couple of days. Just going to get a small minor procedure, and I'll be back.
And then what happened?
Now he sent me for what happened at the angiogram is that so the angiogram, the interventionist kind of was about 2 minutes, and then he kind of bent over and said to me, Pascal, look, I can't really help you. You've got just all along. You need a bypass. And that hit me like a ton of bricks because I wasn't expecting that. I really didn't want to hear that. So, I was on multiple blood thinners, and I had like 6 hours on bed to think about it. My wife came in and
Wow.
said, "So what do you want to do?"
Hmm.
And I said, "Look, what can I do? There's not much of a choice." So I did go for the bypass in December 2016. I was 14 days in hospital. I was 5 days in ICU. They grafted two veins from my legs. They took one from the memory, and the fourth vessel they cut out. They cord it. I mean, obviously they stopped my heart, cut my breastbone to get to my heart, and then they reattached the fourth vessel. I was found myself in ICU. It was a long recovery. I was 3 months on medical leave, and it was not a very nice time because you have to keep your blood thinners, and you got to be within a certain range. I was on warfarin, all that, and then the emotional pain because if you're in a car, you have the real fear of this road rage. How I can't protect myself, I can't protect my family, they cut my breastbone. So it was a horrible time. So that got me really thinking, look, what have I done? How did I get to this? Right?
Hmm.
And it really is my diet, obviously the family history. I deluded myself about red wine. Obviously that didn't work.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, so that's how it happened, Chris. And the thing is that I carried, fortunately for myself, because of my journey, and that's why I spoke to you earlier about my journey on nasal rhinitis and all the supplements and the books that I've read. I said to myself, okay, I was on statins. Now you might have heard statins. Now it's a very controversial area, statins in the US. You probably heard about it. I've got a book written by a cardiologist and a pharmacist. His name is. In fact, I've got the book here. His name is Johnny Borden, and Steven Sinatra. It's called The Great Cholesterol Myth. And this book talks about all the causes of heart disease. And what he says is that really it's not cholesterol that's the main culprit. It's not even saturated fat. It is two main, if I can summarize for you, it's two main causes of heart disease, and that's sugar and oxidative stress. It's from bad oils that oxidize, right?
Oh, wow.
And I think about my time in the US, and look, I'm not saying that the US is the only country that consumes a lot of sugar, but I think you probably are up there with the highest consumer
Yeah.
of sugar.
We definitely are. We're
Because I
crazy.
mean, in my time in Penn State, everything, glazed donuts, and I remember many years as a kid watching the cop movies, and there's always donuts, you know, and so really, I think that's what it is, and I'm still trying to wean myself off statins. I'm on statins. I've been on 4 statins. I started with Zocor a long time ago, and then I was on other Lipitor, which is a potent statin. Your listeners might know. And then I was on Crestor, and then now on Prevacor. So I've tried 4 statins, and they have side effects. And let me tell you a bit about the side effects. Junior wasn't working. You know what I mean? I mean, you get impotence, right? And and I was doing my honeymoon, and I couldn't get the guy up. It was really bad. I was in Lipitor,
Bad for you or your wife, or both?
And all the other statins have very side effects, joint pains. For me, what was high, I mean, joint pains, muscle pains, loss of memory.
Wow.
And various other things. I mean, fortunately, these side effects are reversible. So if you stop a statin, if you're on a statin, the side effects are fully reversible. And I've stopped statin a few times. My most recent, experiment was taking the blood thinners, stopping the statins for about 2 months, seeing what the effects would do. So I've got medical blood test results from 20 years in Australia,
Wow.
all 20 years, and every year, and I've got the levels. I've got the levels of my cholesterol, total cholesterol, the HDL, the ratios, and so on. And the thing is that when I was off the statin, obviously the cholesterol went up. I recently got in touch with an American nutritional company
Hmm.
called WebMD. They have a product which has red yeast rice extract,
Mm.
berberine, and bergamot. Now, what they did is, just to give you an example, Chris, my baseline cholesterol levels are about 8.5 to 9. That's super high, right?
Hmm.
And it has been like that since I've been 35, 40 years of age. So it's been pretty high.
Wow.
Now, with this natural supplementation, I was able to bring this down to about 4.1. So
Wow.
that's pretty darn good for a supplement.
Yeah.
Uh, and here's what the problem, Chris. The problem is that cardiologists are not satisfied with the level of 4 point something. They want less than 3.
Hmm.
They want less than 3, right?
Hmm.
And it's hard to get to less than 3 without taking a statin. Unfortunately, that's what it is.
Yeah. And so you go on this journey,
You know.
and what do you hope to do with this book? I mean, are you hoping to educate people on what options they have, et cetera, et cetera? Did you hear me?
Yeah. Look, I mean, the various options, but the thing is, yeah, yeah. There are various options, but the thing is that if you take statins, they're going to continue to cause these problems, right? I mean, and I'm not retired. I'm still working. I need my brain to think. I can't afford a short-term memory, so I can't stop this. It's a matter of maybe going in high doses of red yeast extract, perhaps. You know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe taking the statins for 3 days in a week, and then not having to take the statins and taking the other herbal medications maybe 4 times a week. So,
Mm-hmm.
so what I would urge your listeners and your viewers, obviously, whatever you do it under the supervision of a physician, a doctor, because I wouldn't recommend doing stuff of your own bat because it's dangerous. But and I've been perfectly honest with with my GP.
Mm-hmm.
I've spoke to him about my experiments, so he knows they are short-term experiments. So it's been all right. But I think the main thing is that the statins cause a lot of damage, Chris, and
Yeah.
there are other avenues that are available. And I'm not quoting myself. I'm an engineer. I'm not a medical doctor, but
Uh-huh.
I am quoting other doctors, cardiologists, like this one who wrote this book. And there are multiple books out there by GPs who don't believe that cholesterol is the main culprit,
Wow.
that sugar and oxidative stress are.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. So with your book, when is it
That's
coming
where it
out? Does
is,
it
and
have a
I think so. I
yeah?
think it is.
With your book, when is it coming out,
The
and
book will come
how?
out. Well, I'm going to publish the book on Amazon Kindle Publishing, KDP. That I'm
Mm-hmm.
planning to get it out in October this year.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. That should be good then,
And in the
right?
meantime, I've got my website, and I put some information on my website. Yeah, I've got my website running at the moment, so that will be the place to go for information. There's also I've got I can get feedback if people want to send me an email at pascal@pascalxavier.com. They can reach me there if they've got concerns and they have been a similar journey, or they're on statins and they've got side effects. I can certainly refer them to journal articles and textbooks. So I mean that's how I believe I can help. And the reason I'm doing this is because I think uh, the food industry kind of have got us hoodwinked. If you look at the supermarket shelves, they're full of sugar. If you look at the breakfast cereals in the morning, the Kellogg's, the General Mills, I mean, it's Fruit Loops and Cocoa Pops. It's a lot of sugar. Now, yes, children can take more sugar because they are active and they run about and stuff like that. But adults, you can't take that kind of sugar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that sugar is going to cause damage. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, definitely, it's gonna affect your age. That's just how those things roll, really.
Yeah.
So yeah. What else do we need to know about your forthcoming book? How can people get on?
That's right.
Do you have a
So I think, yeah.
Do you have a list on your website that people can get on your book and find out more? Like they can get a list so they know when it issues?
Yes, I mean the web. Yep. There are sections on my website that will indicate. Now I'll probably keep them posted on when the book will come out, and in the meantime, I'm trying to engage people just through my website, putting information out there, writing blogs because I got one blog out there. I just recently launched the website, so I got a blog out there that talks about the heart disease in particular. So I guess that's where they can get the information in the meantime. And the reason I'm not rushing the book out is because, well, there are two reasons. One, I'm at a full-time job, and it's tough trying to find the time outside work to progress my book. The other reason really is that my book is going to be evidence-based, so it's going to be based on journals, on papers, research papers. It's not going to just be based on Google search. Not that there is not reliable information out there, but if you want reliable information, then the journals are where to go. And so research journals, I've got to distill the information and summarize it for my readers so that they don't have to do the research. I've done the work for them.
Most definitely. Well, anything more we need to know for people to hear or get signed up so that they're aware when your book launches? Did you hear me on that? Anything more we need to know about the book before your book launches?
Except, I think all we need to know is that it's going to be based on my experience, my experiment I've done. It's going to be it's written from a patient standpoint. There are books written out there by cardiologists and GPs. There's ample number of books out there written by them. But I mean, this one is going to be one of the few bypass. So that's how it's going to be different. It's also going to be different in the sense that it's going to be very evidence-based. It's going to be based on research. So what information I put out there is not going to be my opinions, although I may have a few. It's going to be based on what the journals say, what the researchers say. There's a lot of evidence out there that some of the misleading. They could say, "Oh, this causes 40% reduction in heart disease and 30% reduction." Doctors talk about it. They play with statistics, manipulate the numbers, make it appear that they are more effective than. If you're if you're not a mathematician or a statistician, then you want to, be reading a book or getting a commentary from someone who is or has a good grounding in mathematics, because it is possible to manipulate the data.
Are you going to do consulting on this, coaching and things of that nature?
So, I guess.
Yeah, you're breaking up really bad. Are you going to do consulting or coaching on any of this?
Yes, I am. So the plan is off the back of the book. What I plan to do is to do some professional speaking, so to get
Mm-hmm.
some engagements.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually currently, while I'm, and that's why I'm also extra busy. While I'm actually writing this book, I'm actually enrolled for a course. I did a boot camp on public speaking with the Speakers Institute. It's kind of like, I think, what you have in the US as Speakers Lab or something similar.
Uh-huh.
And Speakers Institute is an Australian-based company. It's off the back of someone who lost his arm in a car accident and had to do something to get back, and he shared his experience. So this organization, Speakers Institute, is about people who have life experiences and who want to share that with the world, right? And to try to make a difference in the world. That's what it's about.
There
And
you
I'm
go.
currently on I'm currently on a 1-year protege program, which pretty much is a 1-year course with intensives and assignments and stuff like that to on how to market and how to and then that's partly also getting ideas as to how I can effectively get my not only my message out there, but to market it and to reach audiences, to summarize, to write it in a way that will be easy for people to understand and to access. So that's a program that will go all the way until about October this year. I started October last year after the boot camp, the 1-year program.
Mhm.
So I've got that happening. So, and so I am really keen to get this out.
There you go. Well, tell people as we go out your final pitch to them. Tell them where they can onboard with you, or sign up for newsletter, or find out when the book's going to come out, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So my final pitch would be, don't take information out there as gospel truth, because there's more than one side to the coin. Always question the data, question the information, research it. There are many people out there with websites and with books. You want to question it, and I think the best way to get reliable data is to get data from that have been refereed, journals that publish books that are based on journals that have been refereed, and then they're reliable data. And then make your own decision. Do whatever you need to do. Do it under the supervision of a medical professional, obviously, because I wouldn't advise just doing it yourself, especially if you've had have a serious medical condition.
Mm-hmm.
But just distill the information out there is what I'll say.
There you go. There you go. Well, thank you very much for coming to the show. It's very insightful, and hopefully people will learn from your book on how to navigate this health issue well.
Yep. Well,
All right.
thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Thank you. And give us your .coms one last time as we go out.
So my website is pascalxavier.com. That's my website.
Mm-hmm.
And I can be reached at pascal@pascalxavier.com.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you very much, Pascal, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Thanks for audience for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss, one of the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.